Good evening and welcome to Unity of Vancouver and tonight's edition, class number 4 of Romancing the Soul. Would you please join me in welcoming your host for this evening, Reverend Bob Trask.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you all for being here. Whoa, what a great evening we have in store for you. I guess I should say what a great evening you have in store for me, because it's your participation and you coming and joining this that makes it exciting and makes it fun. And you know something? We can't grow spiritually unless we're having fun. We can't grow spiritually unless we're in joy. I can tell you that when you're all bottled up inside and you've got a bunch of stress on you, you're not growing. There's no growth happening. You're shrinking down inside of yourself and covering yourself up. You're like one of those sea anemones when you touch it and it closes up. We need to be in joy so we can be open to life, open to what's happening. And those of you, if there is anyone who are here for the first time, let me tell you that this is Unity of Vancouver, British Columbia. And this is a place where we teach and believe in peace, teach, believe in love, teach, believe in grace, teach, believe in common sense spirituality. And having said that, let's start our evening off with a meditation, shall we? So put your feet flat on the floor or do whatever you want. I think flat on the floor is best. The bottom part of your back up against the back of your chair, and your body just relaxed. Nothing real serious. Just relax. Just be relaxed and be at peace. Take a deep breath and hold it, and then very gently, 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 gently let it go. And let yourself just be at peace and relax. As you move slowly and softly through the spaces of life, you find that there is a joy inside of you. There is a peace inside of you. And that joy and peace get shrouded, don't they? They get covered up. They get kind of hammered by all of the little stressful things that go on all day long. And most of those stressful things that go on come from our subconscious minds. They come jerking up out of the mud of our subconscious swamp and cry out to us, me, look at me, look at me, watch out for that, look out for that. Oh, well, don't do that. Oh my God, this is never going to work. And they're constantly shouting for your attention. In meditation, we just stop all that. So I'm going to be quiet for a couple of minutes and just let you breathe gently in through your nose and hold that breath just until you feel like it's safe to let it go, and then let it go. And if when you let it go, you feel any apprehension as it goes out, then perhaps you should have held it just a little while longer. And then let the breath stay out, completely out, until you feel like breathing in again. And then gently, once again, breathing grace, breathing the breath of God, gently, sweetly.
but it doesn't look like he's.
Allow yourself to now travel out away from the land, out over the vast sea, under the stars, under the moon, and feel wrapped around you the velvet of the universe. You are a child of the universe, no less than all of those stars around you, and the soft breeze, and the great sea below you. You have a right to be here. You belong here. And you belong here being you. Being you. Being. Time and space do not exist in any place other than right here, right now. Be right here, right now. As soul. as everlasting, eternal soul, filled with grace, filled with love, filled with life. As you drift among the stars over that vast and beautiful mirror of ocean, please know that eternally you are loved. You are blessed. You are safe. You are free. You are loved and blessed and safe and free. You're not here by accident. You're here on purpose for a purpose. And that purpose is to be. You're the only one. There never has been, never will be another you. You are the one. You're perfect exactly as you are. Nothing needs to change except perhaps your idea that you need to change. You're beautiful. You're safe. As you can feel now, you are a child of the universe and you are being loved and blessed, and you're safe and you're free. And your body is completely well. Every cell of your body is operating exactly as it should. And you are completely well. And you are love. And you are joy. And you are peace. Very gradually and gently, when it feels right to you, come back to the group. Don't rush it. And when you come back, bring with you this beautiful self. So, my dear friend, we're on this trip together. We're on this voyage together. I used to be the captain of seagoing vessels, and I feel like now I'm the captain of this of this of this Cinderella ship that's sailing through the sky. And we're all on board. Some of us are setting sails, and some of us are paddling, and some of us are cooking dinner, and some of us standing watches. But we're all in this together, and we're traveling together, and we're moving forward into the light, moving forward into the light of a new world. A new world. I mean, we don't have to look around very far to see that the world we're in is got a lot of problems, doesn't it? Has a lot of problems. And those problems, they aren't permanent problems. Those problems are just the anomalies that happen when people are out of balance. But when we get in balance, when you and I get in balance, and it radiates out to our families. And what do I mean by balance? I mean knowing the truth about who we are and what we're doing here. Many of us spend our lives flying around like bottled moths, banging against the sides of the jar, trying to figure it out. And I know that for the first 30 or 35 years of my life, I sure did that. But there's a wisdom. There's a wisdom in the world. There's a wisdom in the universe. There's a wisdom in spirit. And that wisdom lives deep within you. That's why we have the spiritual wisdom circles on Saturday mornings, the first and third Saturday of every month, just for an hour. The spiritual wisdom circles, people come together and they just in that hour, they get a chance to find out what the wisdom is that's inside of them. And to be able to express that without anybody interfering with them or correcting them or saying anything. Just to discover that we are already there, that we are already divine. We only need uncover that which is beautiful, that which is pure, that which is perfect, that which is sacred. And it's covered up by a lot of nonsense, isn't it? That's why I say that we teach common sense spirituality, not nonsense spirituality. You know, that which we call God isn't a guy in the sky. That which we call God is the presence, the divine presence of creation. And you've heard me say this before, forgive me, but I'll probably say it a lot of times. The Creator is the created. The Creator is alive inside of each of that which is created. You've seen pictures of nebulae out in the galaxy? Holy smokes. They are just beyond gorgeous. You've got to be speechless. There's no word to describe how incredibly beautiful they are. Or a baby's face. Or a drop of dew hanging on a spider web with the sun shining through it, catching it and making prisms out of it. That's life. That's joy. And we are a part of that. We are as pure and perfect and beautiful as anything I've just described. Each one of us. I mean, the fact that we have more neuronal connections in our brain than there are stars in 1,500 Milky Way galaxies. That's not possible. I could go on and on. You know, I could go on and on about the human body and how incredible it is. But why is that? Because you live inside of it. Because you are living inside of that body, creating the miracle of life every day. You, by your decisions, by your choices. And when you're making balanced decisions and balanced choices, the result is joy. And that's why chapter 4 was about joy. Because we can't hope to grow. We can't even hope to use the triangle and get anywhere on the triangle unless we're in joy. We need to choose joy. So I'm going to hush up for a minute, and I want to ask you, what were the high points for you in chapter 4? And I want to hear from several of you before we go on. The high points for you in chapter 4. Just go down to the place where it says reactions at the bottom of your screen and click on that, and then you'll see a hand. You can, at the bottom there, you just put the hand up, and then Randy will see that, and he'll come and snatch you up and drop you right here in front of me. Anne, please. Anne was trying to get her hand up. She just didn't know it. So.
Hello. Yeah, joy. I was intrigued because my son started, I think I mentioned before that he started this path of veganism for our family, and me being the principal cook, I've embraced it as a way to elevate our vibrations. And so I'm thinking, okay, what we put into our bodies is spiritually clean, and then it will elevate all of our light to shine out to everybody. And so it started January 1st or 4th, actually, sorry. And then this week, he was talking to his little friend, and they decided they were going to add to it working out. So he devised an exercise program. And, my family is my joy. And seeing him and his little friend so happy to they took pictures of their biceps, before and after pictures, and they're adding this into this whole thing. I mean, they're 10 and 11, right? So they're really young, and they're influencing our whole family. And because my husband is somebody who likes to work out regularly, and he does stretches all over the living room floor, he makes all these funny grunting kind of noises as he's working out. And so my son explained to his little friend, okay, well, we have to do it like Dada. We have to make all these noises. And so when you do this particular bicep curl, you have to make this sound in it. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, but it's such a great vision that he has, because I've been working with the triangle with him as well. And so he's visualizing a stronger, healthier life, and starting early, I think that's good. And it's brought a lot of joy.
So you're working out spiritually as well as physically.
Yes, it's an integrated program here.
I'm wondering. I mean, I'm not hinting at anything, but I'm wondering if this veganism and this working out and the triangle and all of these things, and you're having moved, and the changes in your work statuses, I'm wondering if this is all sort of a culmination of a great transformation in the lives of your family.
Yes. I think we can't help but change. Life is all about change. So I guess it's our attitudes that we have towards it that's going to affect the outcomes and the ultimate daily joys that we can win every day. And so this is what we're aiming for.
You're wonderful, Anne.
You're
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Next. And you know I'll come and get you, so you might as well just. Hi,
Oh, can you
Nancy.
hear me okay? Oh, unmute myself. Okay. There, is that better?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that was great to hear about joy. And I wasn't going to talk about joy. I was going to talk about choices, because everything we experience is the result of our own choices all our life. And it comes to amalgamate with my twin grandkids who are 4 years old and who I've been looking after quite a bit lately. Because my son and his wife are rebuilding a new house and property that they just built. So I get to look after them for maybe 2 or 3 days or so, and then pass them on to the next grandparent. And they are so full of joy. They brought me back to my childhood. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is me.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I think there. Can you see? Well, I don't know. Anyways, it's me on a bicycle, probably when I was 2. And every time I look at that, that's going to be a picture of my inner child to remind me to play, because she is so happy. My brother put me on that bike and took a picture of me way back, because I'm old. And it reminds me to have fun, and I get down on the floor and play with my twins. And I remember the choices that I had to make as I was growing up were choices I didn't make for myself. I made them for other people. Like I would, my dad would give me a scenario of what would you choose to do in this situation? Well, I would say what he would want to hear from me. It wouldn't be my choice, but I would only say things to please him. And because his way of teaching us was, and why did I say the sky was blue? I said, because you said so, Daddy. That's right. So you see, I've had to contend with that type of bringing up in our large family of 11 children. So when I see myself as this wonderful child who is full of love, and I feel that love and joy, that's now what I've become, looking after my grandchildren. I can make my own choices now, because it'll be coming from a place of joy. So thank you
Beautiful
for bringing that
story.
up.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you. You bring to mind the fact that and I've said this before, Buckminster Fuller said that every child is a genius until he or she is 6 years old. And at 6 years old, what happens is we send them to school and they learn that they're not okay, that they have to change. They have to learn math or reading or numbers or something, and they're not, they were just fine, but up until now you're not okay. And the subconscious mind is begun by our parents, and it's coddled together through the experiences over life. But the interesting thing is that the experiences that I have when I'm 7 and 8 try to validate the experiences I had when I was 2 and 3. In other words, those earlier experiences become our belief system, and the ego says the belief system is right. I'm right. It's right. So when you have a new experience, if it doesn't fit with the old belief system, then you just change your attitude about the new experience so that it does fit. And that just keeps piling on year after year after year. But what I hear you saying, Nancy, and I just love it, is that you're looking at these little kids, and rather than trying to bring them to you, you're going to them. You're going back to joy. God, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have time for 2 more.
We don't have any hands raised at the moment, Bob.
Okay, that's fine then. Lynn, yes, you. You're still there. You are. You're
Forgot about
unmuted.
the unmute. When I was reading it, the word that kept resounding in my head, even before I got to the end of the chapter, was joy, 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 joy. And it's interesting because that was what we had on the white stone ceremony this year. And it's also what I put on my white stone last year, because that's something I'm really open to, hopefully, because there hasn't been a lot of joy in the past. So, I mean, as much as I feel joy when I'm in nature, I feel joy when I'm doing certain things, but not in every moment all the time. And so that's been my focus for the last week, is to pay attention and to see and just to notice what's in front of me and how gorgeous and fabulous it is, and just to experience the joy that it's there to bring me, because it's all about me, so it's there to bring me joy. And after listening to Nancy, I think I need to go borrow a couple of kids.
Maybe she'll lend you a couple.
Maybe. No, I don't think so.
I'm so glad that I'm talking to you, Lynn, and I'll tell you why. Is because for a lot of us, joy is an uphill battle, and it's something that we have to kind of like picking roses out of the fertilizer pile, and it's a little difficult, but the truth is about joy is that joy is happiness is a laughing flower growing in joyful earth. So happiness is a result of joy. It isn't, they don't have much to do with each other, except that happiness is the laughing flower that's growing from a joyful earth. Joy is a state of being, and happiness is an expression of that being, an expression of that joy. And the reason I'm going there with you, Lynn, is because I think, and you're not alone, there's other people that feel exactly the way you do. And I've spent most of my life, well, no, I haven't spent, I'm an old guy now. I spent the first third of my life being in that place, but I've been in joy for a long time. But talk to me about how do you create that state of mind so that the basic platform, the basic foundation of your life is joy, and then everything emanates out of that, rather than the basic platform of one's life being doubt and or fear, and then trying to find joy in that. How do you make that change?
Well, I think it's about changing my thought processes, about changing the way that I perceive things, about the way that I react to things, and just being open to not being stuck in the beliefs and the feelings that I've had in the past. And I'm making strides, but it's I got a lot of time to overcome. I didn't start when I was 35. It came somewhat later than that. So,
does it take a lot of self-discipline?
Some days it does, for sure, because I can tend to react, and I tend to forget what my purpose is. And so it's not a matter of being vigilant, because I don't want to make it sound like a struggle. It's just being aware, I think. Just being aware and watching how I react to things, what my thought processes are. I'm trying to catch myself before I, get too negative or go where I don't want to go, basically.
Do you have someone or someone's on your support team that can pick you up and that you can pick up when things start sliding?
I have one or two.
Good. And that's important, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Women teach us. Yeah. Women teach us men this. Us men, we just sort of gut it out and die early. But women know how to go to each other and talk this stuff out.
Some of us women haven't been very good at it either, I'll tell you. Right.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Anyone? How about Eleanor May? Oh no, I got Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Hi. Something just came to my mind when you were connecting with the previous speaker. What brings me to my joy is gratitude. It's sometimes just saying thank you, God, no list. It is good enough for me. Oh, yes, to remind myself, thank you. Oh, yes. And there are days, totally, absolutely, where I need to write it down and keep it simple. Thank you for my safe place to live. Thank you for food in my fridge. And then it's good. Thank you for joy, for peace. Thank you, God, for love, and then goes to the affirmations like I am love, I am safe, especially when I have a nightmare, and I have them rarely, but they just showed up recently, that I am safe. It is like the moment where all the seeming things are happening in my dream just subside and nothing, and there's stillness. So I'm very grateful for the solution, that there is something, not something, there is something so profound, and universe is supporting me as everyone else when I turn to the proper channel, like universe himself or itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. How you guys are just so great. You're my teachers. So what I come do is I come here to learn from you. So we can know the difference between happiness and joy, because happiness is a flighting things and joy is a state of mind, isn't it? It's a state of being. Happiness is the expression of that joy. And the question that you need to be asking yourself, I think, is what are you doing to clarify your beingness? In the lower left-hand side of the triangle, it's be, do, have, right? And over here in be, that's where your beingness is. That's where your beingness is. And if you're not, excuse me, if you're not anchored in joy in your beingness, if you're not anchored in joy in your beingness, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Our friend, dear friend Eckhart Tolle says, sense your beingness, the naked, unveiled, unclothed beingness. It's untouched by the young or the old, the rich or the poor, the good or the bad, or any other attributes. Beingness, it stands by itself. I was watching a TV show not very long ago, and a guy wasn't Anthony Bourdain, it was another guy that was going around the world, and he was tasting different foods, and he was comparing foods to different cultures, and he was going to some of these places where the average people were living to be well over 100 years old in some small villages. And he was finding that in some of those small villages, people ate meat, and some of them they ate no meat, and some of them they lived on lots and lots of pasta and some vegetables. And it was all different in these, and they were all living. Those people were all living, many of them into their hundreds. I mean, he's in a house having a meal with a family, and there's a mother and father and the grandmother and the grandfather, and here is the son who's 85, and this is it's but they don't have I noticed they didn't have in common, any of them, the same diets, but they all lived simple, happy lives, and they laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. They lived in joy. So there was a research done back in the 1960s, at a cancer research institute that showed that a large number of people who have uncurable cancers that come on and are uncurable and take them away, are people who have had or have an ongoing trauma, some of it welling up out of that subconscious mind that I talked about. The roots of that are creating plants, poisonous plants that are coming up into the body, and people don't know how to get rid of them. And those and they don't have joy in their lives because they're sad, because they're still injured, they're still molested, they're still beat up or beat down, they're still dismissed, they're still feeling unloved, they're still feeling unrecognized, and nothing's changed. And then maybe the husband dies or the wife dies or divorces or goes away, and within 6 to 18 months after the loss of a central love object, within 6 to 18 months after the loss of a central love object, that's when that cancer actually occurred. So joy is not just a good idea because you can go around showing your teeth. Joy is a good idea because it gives you a long, meaningful, purposeful life. A meaningful, purposeful life. So we're going to go into a breakout rooms, and I'm going to give you a little test here. The breakout question is, how have the 4 secrets been affecting my life? If you're saying, what 4 secrets? You didn't read the chapter. But if you're saying, what 4 secrets, and you didn't read the chapter, just go to the last page of the chapter and they're listed. Anyway, how have the 4 secrets been affecting my life? It's important work. I'm laughing a lot, but I want you to know that this is important work. Please stay on purpose. Don't get this to be a chat session where you're talking about all kinds of different things or telling life stories. How have the 4 secrets been affecting my life? Please stay with that question. And I'm going to ask you to do something else. When someone else is talking, I don't want you to just listen. If you would please, hear them. This is maybe the most important thing that we can do tonight. To hear not only their words, but the song of their voice and the timbre of their voice and the emotions that are coming behind them. One of the ways I do this is I try to make believe I'm inside of them saying those words, giving that expression. And then my empathy kicks in, my compassion, and I'm really feeling them and feeling what they're saying. Let's do that tonight. You'll have a half hour in your breakout rooms. Thank
Bob,
you.
we've got 29 people, and so you're saying 30 minutes. What size do you want the groups to be?
I'd like for the groups to be. I'd like for them to be small, fairly small groups, like 3 people, 4 people at the most.
Okay. And we're running for 30 minutes?
Yes, please.
Okay. If everyone will just accept their invitations, the rooms are opening now. Yeah, he won't accept. We'll hang back and talk. Okay. Did you find your invitation, Jeannie? She's still muted. Can't unmute her either.
Frozen image.
Oh, maybe she's gone.
Yep, disconnected, looks like.
Yeah. Hey, Bob.
Hey, so is that just a frozen picture?
It appears. It appears.
Okay.
We should, again, we probably need to move into a breakout room because this is still streaming live on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm going to move us into, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah,
Because-
that's right. That's right. I remember now.
So I think maybe we just stop our videos and come back in 28 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Thanks. Jeannie, did you want to go in a breakout room?
You put me in 6, and I pressed join 6, and then it threw me right out after about a
Okay.
minute.
Oh,
Yeah, well, let me see. I should be able to put you in another one that should work. So just a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead and accept that invitation.
All righty.
It's the frozen. There's something going on.
I think it's on her internet. I
Can you hear me, Jeannie?
think she's gone.
Why is her image not go away?
Don't try to mute yourself again because it's on YouTube. There you go.
Hey, Bob, we are 1 minute and 20 seconds from the
Is
breakouts
he still
closing.
muted? Bob's muted.
Why can't I unmute?
You have to click on the other one.
Actually, hang on. You know what? It might be because. Okay. Can you hear me, Bob?
I can.
Okay. So we are now 1 minute exactly away from the breakouts closing.
Okay.
Remove that spotlight. Make you a big deal. When you were doing your meditation, you started like banging a whole bunch of stuff on your desk. Just so you know, you got to be so like if a pin drops on next to that microphone, everybody hears it.
Yeah, that's a mistake I made. I knew it. I knew when I did it that I'd made a mistake.
And then
Apologies.
for the rest of the meditation, the camera was way off, but I saw you fix that. Luckily, you did fix it before we started back
Well,
up.
the camera was off because when I play the music, I have to disconnect this microphone and use the microphone in the camera. So I need to get closer to the camera so I take the camera closer to me so I can talk softly, and then I put it back, rearrange it, and then plug my microphone back in.
Yeah, that it creates pretty funky visual, but I'll leave
Well,
that.
I was hoping that you had pictures of the ocean and
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, I probably coulda, shoulda, but next time.
It was covered okay.
Yeah, it was covered. But okay, so
It's
we're
okay.
back.
We move forward.
You're coming back in. You're coming back in slowly.
Just give it a minute.
I'll let you know when everyone's back, Bob.
Okay.
Maybe you can see. Actually, you probably can. We're at 11 out of I think 29, so they're dribbling in. I've actually never seen them come back so slowly.
Those breakout rooms were hot.
Yeah. They're clinging to the rooms. No, we want to keep talking.
Don't make me go. No.
No,
Get
the
back.
topics were really interesting.
Should we wait till we're booted out?
Get
Everyone's
back to the classroom.
Everyone's back.
Okay, good. So, anybody have any sharings before I move on with my yap about what happened in the breakout rooms? Anything that, something that occurred to you, something that was an aha that you want to share with the rest of us that you think might give us a little bit of glimmer of consciousness that we don't now have? Anyone?
It's Ryan here.
Ryan, hi.
We had a discussion on the first one. Everything we experience is a result of our choices. And it kind of went two ways. One was, if there's a plane crash, car accident, some of these chaotic random events, I mean, we were wondering, like, that can't always be the result of our choice, or one might say it is. But then I thought it was more like these events can happen to us, and it's more our choices in our thinking about and how we respond to it. And are we going to choose gratitude and make a vision and intentionally find out, go into nature, go be with good people, go, see children or whatever. Like, so the choices perhaps is how we respond more than, it's not. Or were you saying that like these events are also things we choose?
Well, Ryan, thank you for bringing this up, because this is really a hot question. In every country I've worked in around the world, this question comes up, and it's really a great question. So if there's a car wreck and somebody crosses over the the white line in a car wreck and hits somebody head on, and it kills somebody who was just minding their own business, driving their car, and that person gets killed. How is it their fault? But it's not their fault. It's the result of their choices. And see, we have to be really careful about that, because when we say everything that happens to you, everything that you experience in your life is the result of your choices, what we hear is mom and dad saying, you did that, you made that happen, shame on you. But everything that happens to us is the result of our choices. Doesn't mean that we made bad choices or even wrong choices. But until we understand that everything we experience is a result of our choices, we can't begin to make the choices that go in the direction of our vision. So for instance, if and I think I've told this story before, and maybe it's in one of the chapters of the book, but a young man said to me in one of my classes, right at this point, he said, I had an uncle that I loved very, very much. I mean, we were just close as like brothers, and he was down in South America, and he got in a plane to fly over the Andes, and it crashed, and he was killed. So now you're going to tell me that was his fault? And I said, no, I didn't say anything about fault. It was his choice. Nobody made him get on the airplane. It was his choice to get on the airplane. It was his choice to go up into the sky, and then this plane fell out of the sky as a result of his choice. It wasn't a bad choice, wasn't a good choice, wasn't a right choice, wasn't a wrong choice, but it was still a choice. And everything that happens in our lives, everything that we experience, not everything that happens, but everything that we experience, which is a little different than whatever happens, everything that we experience in our lives is the result of choices that we make. And here's how that's really beautiful, if you can just stick with this for a minute. If you look back over your life, and Ryan, you and I are going to talk in the next couple of days on the phone anyway, but I'm just going to jump ahead right now. If you look back over your life and you see the things that you screwed up, the mistakes you made, the people you hurt, the mistakes you made that hurt you, and you see those things, if you can own those and say, I made the choices that brought those about in every single situation, it was a result of my choices. Then what you're saying is, I was powerful enough to do that. If I'm that powerful, what if I do use that power? What if I change my self-identity? What if I expand my self-identity into a sainthood of love and make choices from that angle? Then what will the results be? So we're all making choices. I mean, I'm making choices. Sometimes choices I make are bad choices, or not stupid choices, but choices that cost me. I was a few months ago, I was out on the trail and I was speed walking, and I fell and I landed on my face and I tore my face up. Had to have a bunch of stitches. Missed some services. It was very painful, and it could easily have killed me. But it was my choice. So after that happened, and now what you said is so absolutely right on. After that happened, then I was still at choice. Now that I'm all chopped up and bleeding and got this throbbing headache, now what's my choice? Now my choice is to let that be part of my growth, part of the wisdom that I came here to gather. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? So,
sure, I'll share something, Jennifer here.
Please, Jennifer. Yes.
See me? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Did I choose to have a mood disorder? I'm not sure, but I went to a really interesting thing last night called the Mental Health Chapel. And it was a really beautiful, encouraging talk about how our mental health is affected during the pandemic and so on. But on the other side, they had the good outcomes of what comes from that, so that I become a way more compassionate person. I have understanding of people that suffer from depression. And mostly I'm a joyful person, but I am battling that. And I don't know whether it's genetic, social, whatever it is, what it is, but I felt really grateful that I had that opportunity. Whereas some people might be not going so as deep. I still love the Bible. We've been talking about Corinthians 13, about love being trusting, never giving up, never failing. And my mom then sends me a beautiful Valentine. And then she sends me $20. And I had already thought I'll go out with my girlfriends for Valentine's to celebrate love. So I know, isn't that sweet? So sometimes I will gripe about my situation. But mostly it's like, okay, where's this leading me now? And I actually became almost like an employment agency lately, just because of my thoughts about people. There's no jobs, people can't work, they need to live on welfare, because it gets me going because I had to work so hard. Anyways, friends of mine own a farm out in Richmond, and they could not find anyone to come and plant the fields. And I had a wonderful, amazing idea, just like, remember the Grinch, where his heart grew way bigger? Anyways, the idea is to have some students from the Kwantlen Horticulture Society. Maybe they'd like to go out there now, help plant the gardens. Well, they followed up on the idea, and they've got all these planters. And by the way, those people supply all our, like, Kins Market and Langley and different ones. And sometimes I just wish I would keep my nose to myself, but I seem to get involved in being a caring person. These things evolve. So does that make any sense? I love the Mental Health Chapel. Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad you went there. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful story. And once again, you know, some of us are born with anomalies. Like I have a genetic condition, and I also have a twisted arm that I can't do certain things with, and I've got certain other physical problems with my body. But the thing of it is that what choice will I make now? And as you guys have all heard me say this before, is that an event happens, and when that event happens, it didn't happen before. It wasn't a preordained. It happened. It happened right then and right there. And what happens is that the minute it happens, it has a purpose. When it comes out the other side of that event, it has a purpose. And I get to decide what that purpose is. Nobody else gets to decide what the purpose is. I get to decide. I get to decide, so I can look back over my life and I can see things that have gone wrong, mistakes that I've made, terrors that I've went through or that I've gone through, and I can say, gosh, that's just awful. Wasn't it too bad? And wasn't it terrible about this? And wasn't it terrible about that? Or I can say, wasn't it great that I got a chance to experience that? Other people have to go to movies and look at it on the screen. I got to actually be there and be that in that situation. So I grow, and I just think that we need to be so proud of ourselves for that. I got to move on because we're running out of time. I want to just ask you to please, all of you, to just please think for a minute about the value of this class and the value of the work that we're doing at Unity of Vancouver. We're reaching out into the world to make a difference. This is not about us. We have accepted the assignment of shining the light into the dark corners of the world. We accepted that assignment, and we're working in every way we know how to do that. And people like Randy, who's here tonight, and his son Matthew. Randy works more than most employees work for this church for that reason. And he doesn't get any pay. We're just doing this to make the world the way it can be. And we need help. So if you can dig into your pocket and throw a few shekels on the pile, it would really help. You know, a suggested donation would be somewhere between $5 and $20, between $10 and $20. If you can do that, that would be really helpful. So would you just say this offering statement with me? Because we're talking about money as love now. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. God bless you. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your kindness. So here's the ways that you can do that. You can hit the chat button at the bottom of your window, and on there you'll find the credit card links, and you can do an e-transfer at unityofvancouver.org. You can send us a check, just however it works for you. But let's just help us out. Be part of our team. And we want to be part of your
my
team.
apologies with Brian not here. We didn't get the links in the chat, but the links can be found at the unityofvancouver.org website.
Okay. If you can go to unityofvancouver.org, those links are all there. So thank you so much. Thanks for your generosity. Now, why don't you all unmute yourselves so we can say goodnight?
Good night.
Good
Good night.
What's our homework?
Bye.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
We have homework,
Until
Bob.
next time.
What's our homework?
Yeah, the homework. Yes, the homework.
Shirley
Read the
wants
next
homework.
chapter. Read chapter 5.
Somebody said they couldn't find the e-transfer link on the website. If you want to do an e-transfer, which I highly recommend, because then when you do an e-transfer from your bank to Unity of Vancouver, the address is on the website, donations plural at unityofvancouver.org. So you go to your own bank account, and what will happen then is when it's received by Unity of Vancouver, they do not have to pay any charges. When you use, because I used to use PayPal and I used to use my MasterCard, but that meant every time then my donation would get to Unity, but they're also having to pay service fees. But if you do an electronic transfer, they don't have to pay a service fee, and it might only be a few cents or a few dollars, but that way I know that every cent that I send them, they're receiving. So just my little bit of a plug. So if you
Thank you.
don't know
Thank you
how
for
to
that.
do it, your bank will tell you.
Thank you for that. Ricardo, mi hermano, te amo.
Night.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye now. Bye now.
Love you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Bye-bye.
Be well.
Thank you.
Night, night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye.
Well, thanks for being a